Why are you still not rich, even though you work hard, dream big, and consume endless motivational content? What if the real reason has nothing to do with luck, talent, or your background, but everything to do with how you think and decide every single day? Tony Robbins says most people don't fail financially because they lack opportunity, but because they misunderstand the rules of wealth. In this video, we'll uncover the uncomfortable truth about money, mindset, and habits that keep people stuck. Stay until the end, because the final lesson could completely change how you approach success and wealth forever. Lesson 1. You don't have a money problem. You have a psychology problem. When you look at the landscape of financial success, it is easy to become obsessed with the how-to. We live in an information age where the mechanics of wealth, asset allocation, compound interest, and market trends are available at the click of a button. Yet, despite this accessibility, the majority of the population remains stuck in a cycle of financial scarcity. Tony Robbins posits that this is because we are solving the wrong equation. Wealth is not a mathematical problem, it is a psychological one. Specifically, it is 80% psychology and only 20% mechanics. You can hand the world's most sophisticated investment strategy to someone with a poverty mindset, and they will find a way to sabotage it. Conversely, a person with a wealth mindset can start with nothing and eventually dominate their field. The hardware is the strategy, but the software, your beliefs, your fears, and your identity, is what actually runs the machine. Our financial psychology is often forged in childhood, shaped by the words and actions of our parents, our culture, and our early experiences with lack or abundance. If you grew up hearing that money is the root of all evil, or that rich people are greedy, those beliefs act as an invisible ceiling. Subconsciously, you will avoid wealth because your brain associates it with being a bad person. This is why many people who win the lottery lose it all within a few years. Their internal thermostat is set to broke, and their psychology works over time to bring their external reality back in line with their internal identity. To change your bank account, you must first change your financial blueprint. You have to investigate the stories you tell yourself about what you deserve and what is possible for someone in your position. Tony emphasizes that your musts are different from your shoulds. Most people feel they should have more money, they should save more, and they should invest. But we don't get our shoulds, we get our musts. When you shift your psychology so that financial abundance becomes a psychological necessity, a must, your brain enters a state of hyper-focus called the reticular activating system, RAS. Suddenly, you start seeing opportunities where you previously saw obstacles. You begin to notice the mentors, the deals, and the side hustles that were always there but were invisible to your old mindset. This shift in perception is the first domino in the sequence of wealth creation. Without it, every tactical move you make is just a temporary bandage on a deep-rooted psychological wound. Mastering your psychology also means mastering the concept of state. Tony Robbins often speaks about the power of physical and emotional states in decision-making. If you approach your finances from a state of fear, contraction, or not enoughness, you will make desperate, short-sighted decisions. You will sell when the market is down and hesitate when it is time to leap. Rich psychology is rooted in a state of certainty and contribution. It views money not as a limited pie to be hoarded, but as a dynamic tool for growth and impact. By consciously choosing your emotional state and auditing your limiting beliefs daily, you stop fighting the mechanics of money and start allowing your psychology to work for you rather than against you. Lesson 2. Your standards are too low. The quality of your life is a direct reflection of the standards you hold for yourself. Most people live in a comfort zone that is actually quite uncomfortable, yet it is familiar enough that they never feel the urgent pressure to leave it. Tony Robbins argues that we don't get what we want in life. We get what we tolerate. if you tolerate being in debt, if you tolerate a job that pays you just enough to survive, and if you tolerate a lifestyle of just getting by, then that is exactly what your life will remain. The difference between the person who earns $50,000 a year and the person who earns $500,000 is often not a difference in intelligence or even effort. It is a difference in the floor they have set for their existence. Raising your standards is a violent act of self-definition. It requires you to look at your current circumstances and say, this is no longer acceptable. This isn't about being ungrateful for what you have. It's about refusing to settle for less than what you are capable of becoming. Think of your standards as a thermostat. If you set your thermostat to 68 degrees, the moment the temperature drops to 65, the heater kicks in to bring it back up. In the same way, when a high-standard individual sees their savings account dip below a certain level, their internal heater kicks in, and they work with a level of intensity and focus that a low-standard individual simply cannot access. To change your life, you have to move your must line upward. Tony often shares the story of how he lived in a 400-square-foot bachelor apartment, washing his dishes in the bathtub until he finally reached a breaking point. That breaking point is the moment when should becomes must. Most people wait for a crisis to raise their standards, a health scare, a layoff, or a bankruptcy. But the wealthy and the successful learn to raise their standards proactively. They don't wait for the world to force them to change. They demand more of themselves before the world demands it of them. They decide that they will be the kind of person who is fit, the kind of person who is financially free, and the kind of person who adds massive value to others. Once that identity is set, the behaviors follow naturally because it becomes a matter of integrity to live up to that new standard. However, raising your standards also means changing your peer group. Tony famously says that proximity is power. If you surround yourself with people who have low standards, their mediocrity will eventually rub off on you. If your friends think it's normal to complain about the economy while doing nothing to improve their skills, you will eventually adopt that same posture. Conversely, if you sit in a room with people whose normal is your extraordinary, your standards will naturally rise to meet theirs. You have to protect your environment and ensure that you are playing a game where the stakes are high enough to force you to grow. Wealth isn't just about the money in the bank. It's about the person you have to become to sustain that level of success. Lesson 3. You trade time for money instead of building value. One of the most profound traps of the middle class is the time for money exchange. From a young age, we are conditioned to believe that the way to earn more is to work more hours. But as Tony Robbins points out, time is the one resource that is finite. You only have 24 hours in a day, and if your income is tied to your physical presence and your hourly labor, you have a hard ceiling on your wealth. The wealthy understand that to achieve true financial freedom, you must decouple your income from your time. You must transition from being a laborer to being an owner or a creator. This requires a fundamental shift in how you view work. It's not about how many hours you put in, but about how much value you provide to the marketplace. Value is the currency of the rich. If you can find a way to solve a problem for 1 million people, you will become a millionaire. If you solve a problem for 1 billion people, you will become a billionaire. This is the law of scale. A surgeon might earn a high hourly rate, but they are still trading time for money. If they don't show up to the operating room, they don't get paid. A person who creates a software system, a brand, or an automated investment portfolio, however, is providing value that scales beyond their physical body. Tony teaches that you must become an owner in the global economy. This means investing in businesses, real estate, or equities, assets that work for you while you sleep. You want to move from being a passenger to being the pilot of your financial destiny. The transition from a linear income to a residual or leveraged income is often the hardest leap to make because it requires front-loading effort. You have to work for a period of time, sometimes years, without seeing an immediate return, while you build the systems and assets that will eventually pay you forever. This is where most people quit. They are addicted to the immediate gratification of a bi-weekly paycheck. To be wealthy, you must be willing to endure the gap between effort and reward. You have to think like a farmer. You plant the seeds, you water the soil, and you wait. You don't dig up the seeds every day to see if they're growing. You trust the system of value creation. Tony's philosophy on wealth also emphasizes the money machine. This is the idea that a portion of every dollar you earn should be diverted into a freedom fund that you never touch. This fund is then invested in vehicles that utilize compound interest, what Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world. By doing this, you are effectively hiring your money to work for you. Over time, the work done by your money will far exceed the work you could ever do with your hands or your brain. The goal is to reach a point where the income from your investments covers your lifestyle. At that moment, you are truly free, because you are no longer working because you have to, but because you want to. Lesson 4. You avoid discomfort and risk. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Tony Robbins frequently observes that most people are so afraid of losing what they have that they never go after what they truly want. We are biologically wired to seek safety and avoid the lions of risk. But in the modern financial world, the greatest risk is often taking no risk at all. Inflation, market shifts, and technological disruption will erode your safe position over time. To build wealth, you must develop a new relationship with discomfort. You have to realize that on the other side of your fear is the life you've always dreamed of. If you aren't feeling a degree of uncertainty or positive stress, you probably aren't growing. The fear of failure is what keeps most people in a state of analysis paralysis. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect market conditions, or the perfect amount of knowledge before they take action. But Tony teaches that perfection is the lowest standard in the world, because it is unattainable and serves only as an excuse for procrastination. Rich people don't wait for the fear to go away, they dance with it. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but a part of it. Every failed investment or business venture provides data that makes the next attempt more likely to succeed. The only true failure is the failure to try, because that is the only path that guarantees a zero-sum result. Risk management is not the same as risk avoidance. The wealthy are not reckless, they are calculated. They look for asymmetric risk-reward opportunities, scenarios where the downside is limited but the upside is nearly infinite. Tony emphasizes the importance of structural risk management such as asset allocation and diversification, which allows you to stay in the game even when you're wrong. But emotionally, you must be willing to put yourself in the arena. You have to be willing to be judged, to be wrong, and to look foolish. The people who are the most successful are often those who have failed the most times, but they simply refused to stay down. They developed a psychological callus that allows them to handle the friction of the marketplace. Ultimately, your income will grow in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty you can comfortably handle. If you need 100% certainty before you make a move, you will always be an employee, because the entrepreneur is the one who gets paid to manage uncertainty. Developing emotional fitness means training yourself to stay focused and decisive even when you don't have all the answers. It's about building the muscle of courage. Like any muscle, it grows stronger the more you use it. Start by taking small risks, leaning into small discomforts, and gradually increasing your tolerance. When you are no longer a slave to your comfort zone, you become the master of your financial future. Lesson 5. You don't master your emotions. Money is one of the most emotionally charged subjects in human existence. It represents survival, status, freedom, and power. Because of this, most people do not treat money logically. They treat it emotionally. Tony Robbins warns that if you cannot master your emotions, you will never master your money. The market is essentially a giant machine that transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient, and from the fearful to the disciplined. When the stock market crashes, the emotional person panics and sells, locking in their losses. The master of emotion, however, sees the same event as a sale, an opportunity to buy quality assets at a discount. Your ability to remain calm when others are panicking is a superpower in the world of finance. Impatience is the silent killer of wealth. We live in a culture of instant everything, and that translates into a desire for get-rich-quick schemes. When people don't see immediate results from their investments or their business, they get frustrated and jump to the next shiny object. This constant jumping prevents the power of compounding from ever taking root. Tony teaches that we overestimate what we can do in a year, but we vastly underestimate what we can do in a decade. Mastery of emotion means having the delayed gratification to stick to a plan even when it feels boring or slow. It means trusting the process and managing the winter seasons of your life with the knowledge that spring always follows. Anger and resentment are also major emotional blocks to wealth. Many people harbor a secret resentment toward those who are successful, or they feel angry at the system for being unfair. Tony points out that these emotions are poison to your own progress. If you resent wealth, you will never attract it. If you are angry at the system, you waste your energy fighting the what is instead of using your energy to create what could be. High-level emotional mastery involves moving from a state of victimhood, where things are happening to you, to a state of leadership, where things are happening for you. Even a financial setback can be viewed as a lesson that is for your ultimate growth if you have the emotional maturity to see it that way. To master your emotions, you must master your meaning. Tony teaches that nothing in life has any meaning except the meaning you give it. If a deal falls through, does it mean I'm a failure? Or does it mean there is an even better opportunity coming my way? The meaning you assign to events determines the emotions you feel, and the emotions you feel determine the actions you take. By consciously choosing more empowering meanings, you stay in control of your emotional state. Wealthy individuals don't have fewer problems than poor individuals. They just have a more empowering way of processing those problems. When you master your internal world, your external world inevitably begins to reflect that same level of order, discipline, and abundance. The truth is simple but uncomfortable. You're not rich yet because you haven't become the person who naturally creates wealth. Change your mindset, raise your standards, master your emotions, and focus on value, not just effort. Tony Robbins reminds us that success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by who you become. If this message resonated with you, take action today, because knowledge without action changes nothing.